Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. Let's take a look at the headlines. The cricket world is in a state of shock as Phil Hughes dies after he was hit in the head by a ball. Ivory Coast Seway Sports Club prepares to play Al Ahly of Egypt in the Confederation Cup final. And Kenya's cycling team returns home from a successful campaign in the Philippines. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Ehi Longi. Australian batsman Philip Hughes died on Thursday after he was hit on the head by a short delivery in a domestic match 2 days ago. Hughes, who was due to celebrate his 26th birthday next Sunday, never regained consciousness after being hit at the base of the skull by a rising ball while batting for South Australia against New South Wales at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Medical experts gave a press conference after the tragic news broke to explain what had happened.
Took the blow to the side of the neck, and as a result of that blow, his vertebral artery, one of the main arteries leading to the brain, was compressed by the ball. That caused the artery to split and for bleeding to go up into the brain, and he had a massive bleed into his brain. This is frequently fatal at the time.
He went to theatre and had extensive surgery to remove some of the skull around his brain to help allow the brain to expand so it wasn't compressed. The surgery took about an hour and 20 minutes or so, and he was transferred back to the intensive care unit. Over a period of the first 24 to 48 hours, as we know, he did not make very much improvement. And unfortunately, as a consequence of the injury, he died.
For more on this tragic story, let's talk now to a sports journalist from the Daily Telegraph in Sydney, Ben Horn, who also saw events unfold at the game. Ben, what are your thoughts on the news that has shocked the cricket world today?
Well, yeah, it's very difficult to gather your thoughts today, really. It's just very difficult to comprehend the situation, and it's just a terribly sad day for cricket and for sport, and for particularly anyone who was close to Philip. You know, his friends and his family and his teammates, and it's just a very, very difficult day.
Obviously, it's extremely shocking news, but for those of us who didn't know him, can you tell us what sort of man Philip Hughes was?
Philip was, I think you could say, universally loved around the game. It's very difficult to find anyone who would have said a bad word about Philip. He just had great attributes. He's had a lot of setbacks during his career, dropped several times from the Australian team, and, you know, never did he complain or whinge or, look for excuses. Basically, his attitude was always to just go back and work harder. And, I wouldn't claim to know him well, but the times I've spent with him, very genuine person, and really, modest, quiet achiever.
Now, professionally speaking, anyway, Hughes started his international career very young, touring South Africa in 2009. Now, that suggests he was one of Australia's rising stars. Yeah,
absolutely. He's sadly passed away 3 days short of his 26th birthday. So he's such a young man, and even to this point, 26 first-class centuries, 3 Test centuries, 26 tests. So for someone who really hadn't properly established themselves in the Test team and in international cricket, he'd already done so much. And I think the consensus today was Phil Hughes had so much left to achieve, that the best years were still ahead for him. And that's the saddest thing, that great potential that everyone saw, just won't be realised.
Okay, now Australian captain Michael Clarke made a statement on behalf of the Philip Hughes family. Can you tell us a bit more about what he said?
Well, Michael basically read out a statement on behalf of the family, And the message that sort of stuck with me the most was the final words of that statement, which was, "We love you." And Michael Clark is a very close friend of Philip Hughes. And Michael Clark has been praised today, and rightfully so, for the strength that he's shown the last couple of days. He's been there by Phil Hughes' family's side for the last couple of days. He's been at the hospital, almost, on a, 24-hour vigil. And Michael Clark's leadership has really come to the fore in a very trying time. And he's genuinely going to struggle to comprehend what's happening. He's lost a very close friend.
Okay, and I mean, what memories of Hughes will you treasure as Australian and world cricket comes to terms with his loss?
I think his attitude, everyone can sort of take a bit from Phil Hughes' attitude to life, really. Hard-working, modest, and just no fuss about Phil Hughes, and just had a nice smile, just nice character, and I guess cricket people will remember his cricketing ability, but I think those who know him will remember him as for the person that he was.
Ben Horn, sports journalist from the Daily Telegraph in Sydney, thank you for speaking to Sports News Africa. Now, players and politicians expressed shock and grounds fell silent as the cricket world plunged into mourning after the death of Philip Hughes. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott said Hughes was a young man living out his dreams. His death is a very sad day for cricket and a heartbreaking day for his family. His death caused an outpour of grief from fellow sportsmen on social media. On Twitter, A.B. de Villiers wrote, "Heartbroken, a very dark day. You will be missed, Phil Hughes. My prayers and thoughts go out to his family and friends." And JP Duminy also took to Twitter, "May you rest in peace, Hughesy. Words cannot explain one's feelings right now. Prayers are with his family, friends and teammates." And Kevin Peterson wrote, "Rest in peace, Hughesy. Sean Abbott, thinking about you too, mate." Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Ghana's appeal against the disqualification of its under-17 side from the 2015 championships has been rejected by the Confederation of African Football. CAF has upheld its decision to bar Ghana from the tournament for fielding an overaged player against Cameroon during a qualifying match. The Executive Committee of Ghana's Football Association is expected to convene to decide whether CAF's decision may be appealed at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And moving on to the Confederation Cup, Ivory Coast Sewe Sport will host Egypt's Al Ahly on Saturday when the two sides meet in the first leg of the CAF Confederation Cup final. The two sides met in the group stages of the competition, with Al Ahly winning 1-0 at home and drawing 1-1 in Abidjan. But Sewe are hoping for a good result at the weekend when the 8-time CAF Champions League winners visit.
History will be made if perceived small fries Ivory Coast Sewe Sport beats 8-time winners of the elite African Champions League Egyptian heavyweights Al Ahly in the upcoming Confederation Cup first leg finals on Saturday. This year's event is unique in every aspect, especially for Sewe, for this is the first time in history of the competition that the West Africans are having a stab at the title. Coach Rigo Gervais believes it would be a mistake to underestimate his opponents when they meet on home turf in Abidjan.
We played against them during the group stages. I think that's enough to know about them. People had initially thought that our team was not strong enough to go far. We had players who had left. Our opponents are a side to be taken seriously. We have already met them during the group stage.
Sewe have already played Al Ahly twice in the group phase, losing to the North Africans once and drawing in the other game. Sewe Sport is the first club finalist from Ivory Coast in the last 16 years. The second leg of the finals will be played on 6th December in Cairo to determine the winner.
Kenyan cyclists returned home from their successful campaign in Indonesia and the Philippines. The team arrived in Nairobi to a subdued reception in a show of respect for teammates John Njoroge, who died in a head-on collision during the tour. Team Kenya wants to build on their success, and the search is now on for the next crop of talented riders.
The Kenyan riders, Kenya's premier cycling team, arrived in the capital Nairobi on Wednesday to a low-key reception despite their international success in 2 races in Indonesia and the Philippines. The team won the Tour de Matabunke in the Philippines with an undeterred spirit even after the tragic death of a key team member during the race. John Njoroge died on October 20th after being involved in a head-on collision with a vehicle that was moving in the wrong direction on the road. Assistant team coach Kieran Fitzpatrick said the victory in the Philippines, although welcome and good for the team, there was no pleasant moment after the loss of the colleague.
The race didn't seem so important after that. As it happened, Katharima took over the lead, so we got the race win, but in light of what had happened, it wasn't a win we could really enjoy. It was a horrible race for us, really.
After the race in the Philippines, the team moved to compete in the Tour de Bintang in Indonesia and again won the yellow jersey through the hard work of Ayub Katharima.
Tour of Bintang was good to me and was also tough to me. Since I get the yellow jersey, it was a hard job for my teammate to work for me and secure the jersey. So it was good. We make it and we won it.
Suleiman Kangangi, the vice captain of the Kenyan riders team, said they had no winning formula in Indonesia and just give the race all they could.
After stage 1, our formula was just to ride hard. You know, it's like after we got the jersey on the second stage, the third stage was just to ride as hard as we could, you know, like just control everything, and it was the formula that we used to like to control the race.
The team won the bronze medal at the Tour de Rwanda 2012 and have bagged a few other races around the world, but their ultimate goal is to reach the Tour de France as the first all-African team. But for now, Fitzpatrick said they will be looking to expand the team with more talented riders.
We have to find new talent, develop them, train them, nurture them so that they will be ready to join our current group, and then we can get a higher level of performance from the team.
The Indonesian race ended this year's season, and the team will now go back to training in Kenya's Rift Valley before the new season.
You're watching Sports News Africa. The remaining round 5 matches in the UEFA Champions League were played out on Wednesday, so let's take a look at the winners and losers from those fixtures. Zenit St. Petersburg had victory against Benfica, which means they're still in with a chance to qualify with 1 game remaining. There were also wins for Atletico Madrid, Juventus and Real Madrid. Liverpool's 2-2 draw at Ludogorets means they have to beat Basel in 2 weeks' time to qualify. Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund both go through despite Dortmund's 2-0 loss. Let's start our post-match reaction with Liverpool. Under fire manager Brendan Rodgers' side grounded out a 2-2 draw away to European minnows Ludogorets. The result ended a run of 4 straight defeats in all competitions for the 5-time European champions, but left them needing to beat Basel at Anfield in their final Group B match in order to qualify for the last 16. Speaking after the game, Rodgers said he was happy with how the team reacted after going behind.
The reaction to going behind early on was fantastic. You know, I think you've seen the real character in the team tonight. You know, to go a goal behind against a team that has done very well here in this competition, to show the spirit and the quality of our goals to come back was exceptional. Of course, we're frustrated at the end, you know, because we've defended very well, and at 2-1 could have been 3 and 4-1. But as I said, we come away with a point. You know, Real Madrid beat Basel, and at the beginning of the competition, we said that it would probably come down to the last game, and to have the last game to win at Anfield to qualify, I will take that.
Доволен съм от футболистите, които I am satisfied with the footballers who showed a real growth. Even against a team like Liverpool, they played a very strong tactical match.
И проведаха един много силен тактически матч. Ние с целия респект, който го имаме.
With all the respect that we have for the megastars of Real Madrid, we will go and play just the way we did on Wednesday, with calm and courage. And as I said, football is a game and everything is possible.
С кураж. И аз казвам, футбол е феномен и всичко се случва.
And finally, we bring you Stephanie Roche. She's an Irish footballer who has made FIFA's shortlist for the Puskás Award for the best goal of the year. Roche's goal has had over 3 million hits on the internet and will be up against the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robin van Persie and James Rodriguez. If she wins, she'll be presented the trophy by her idol, Cristiano Ronaldo.
In her small apartment, Stephanie relives last year's miracle goal. Even now, it's hard for her to explain exactly what happened.
It just comes in. I take my first touch with my right, then with my left to flick it over the defender's head, and then volley it into the goal. I was lucky enough that I didn't hit the corner.
Stephanie scored the goal at a league match in Ireland in October 2013. Her coach was so impressed he broadcast the video on YouTube. 3 million views later, Stephanie's now in the running for the Puskás Prize that recognises the 10 best goals of the season. Her competition, the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic and James Rodriguez.
I'm the only woman in the list, which is obviously a great honour. I mean, even as a footballer, to be in amongst them players is something special, so it's something that I'm always going to remember, and as I said, I just love to go one step further and maybe make the top 3.
Stephanie's now moved to France and plays for First Division side Albi. At €800 a month, it's a world away from the big money made in La Liga or the Premier League. But Stephanie's coach hopes that as an underdog, she'll capture the hearts of the judges.
There are clearly some beautiful goals, but she'll be penalised by the fact that these have been filmed by an amateur, whereas you see images from the World Cup filmed in optimal conditions. But the flip side is the fact that she's a woman who played for an amateur club. You can imagine what a buzz this could create on the internet. So I think that she could benefit from these disadvantages too, by the fact that she isn't well known, and that people want to see change.
The Puskás Prize doesn't award cash to the winner, but Stephanie doesn't mind. She's more excited about meeting her idol at the ceremony, and that would be Portuguese superstar Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, if that's done by the same judges who judged Yaya Touré, one of the best players in Europe this year, I'm sure she'll stand in with a good chance of winning. Well, that's the end of Sports News Africa for today, so please join us tomorrow when we bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Goodbye for now.